For those of you that are considering retiring or retirement in the next few years, I think it's important not only to consider the financial aspect of your retirement and making certain that you're prepared to be able to pull the trigger when it comes to retirement in the future, but you also need to consider your physical health. And that's something that the vast majority of Americans don't pay attention to. They try to concentrate primarily on maximizing their financial health, but they don't take a look at their personal health or their physical health or how to prepare for retirement from a business and a personal standpoint. So, whenever I do tax planning for a client, whether I'm dealing with a traditional client that happens to be a W 2 employee, or I deal with somebody who happens to be a business owner and is about to sell the business or transfer the business to a family member and is very seriously considering retirement, then I try to talk about both things because I think the two of them are very important. On the financial side of the house, obviously, the first thing that we try to do is how do we maximize the income while reducing the tax liabilities in retirement. And where maximizing the retirement income is not only about the amount of income that you're going to be receiving in retirement, but how guaranteed is that income? Because I have asked, many of the taxpayers that are in retirement today that I deal with from a tax planning perspective, what is the one thing that they wish they had more of? And they all say the same thing: is guaranteed income, that they can just go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning, and know that their paycheck is going to be guaranteed and it's going to be there no matter what. So, from a financial standpoint, how do you manage retirement? How do you manage the four major risks of retirement? The risk of dying too soon, living too long, living with a disability, and living with eroding factors. And we've done already a video on that when we talk about the eroding factors, taxes, inflation, stock market volatility, interest rate volatility, propensity to consume, and so forth. So I have already done a video on the four major risks of retirement. But along those lines, now comes the physical aspect of retirement, because for those of you that are thinking about retirement, you got to be able to project and you got to be able to plan for 3 decades in retirement. And those 3 decades I call the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. So 65 to 75 is the go-go years. You're still fairly healthy. Once you get into your mid 70s, you go into the slow-go years. Your health is not as good as it was in the previous decade. So now perhaps you're still traveling, but you're staying closer to home and so forth. And then once you get into your mid 80s, is what I call the no-go years. And for many of you, sadly enough, the no-go years actually starts a lot sooner than the mid 80s, depending on your health. So one disclaimer I want to use: I am not a physician, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a personal trainer, but I have been lifting weights and working out since I was 14 years old. I spent 3 years in the Marine Corps. So, as a Marine, you can tell how much we worked out. And obviously, I spent many years in law enforcement as well, and we needed to stay in good shape. So, I have always been very active, and I have attempted to stay in good shape for many, many years. Now, for those of you that are approaching retirement, physical health is just as important as your financial health. Now, you can't help it if you happen to get cancer and you get sick, or if you have a stroke, or if you have a heart attack. Those are things that are part of life. And you can try to avoid those things but by staying in shape, but you're not going to be able to prevent it 100% of the time. So, what do I mean by physical health? Well, I'm talking about physical fitness. As you enter your mid 60s, you need to stay active and you need to be physically active if you want to succeed. Once you get into the slow go years and the no go years, you want to kind of push all those slow go years and no go years as far out as you possibly can. So one of the first things that I recommend to all my clients, now obviously, if you're going to start some kind of a workout program, it's important that you talk to your doctor, that you get some medicals done, to make certain that it would be apropos for you to start some kind of a physical activity that can help you maximize your retirement years from a health standpoint. Lifting weights, I can tell you, is paramount. As I stated earlier, I've been lifting weights since I was 14 years of age. So the more muscle mass you keep in retirement, the better off you're going to be. Obviously, because muscle is going to be able to protect your bones, muscle is going to increase your metabolic rate, so you're going to avoid getting fat. And if you're already there, if you are losing muscle mass and you're getting fat, then you need to start. So you need to start some kind of a physical training weightlifting program. Now, does that mean that you have to all of a sudden join a gym and go work out? Yeah, well, ultimately, that would be ideal, but you can start doing body exercises at home. You can start working out at home. You can do, push-ups, you can do sit-ups, you can do leg squats, you can do air squats, you can do all kinds of different things to kind of get you prepared to start making that paradigm shift that is so important once you hit your retirement years. Now, I can tell you this, you can do aerobics. I have clients of mine that they walk, 10, 15, 20,000 steps a day, and all that is well and good, but you have to be able to lift weights. You have to be able to build muscle, and whatever muscle you have, you need to be able to keep it. For you ladies that are watching this video today, as you get ready for retirement, weightlifting is paramount, especially for you ladies in retirement. So I encourage each and every one of you, and I encourage all the clients that I do tax planning for, that not only prepare themselves financially for retirement, and we do that very well on behalf of our clients, but also to start to prepare yourself physically and also from a dietetic standpoint along those lines. As I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a personal trainer. ChatGPT has been able to help me successfully the last few years, by creating diets based on what I want to do, maintaining muscle mass, reducing the fat intake or reducing my metabolic fat intake and so forth. So it's important that you do that. Now, for those of you that may be interested in moving forward with a tax plan, whether you own a business or you don't, please feel free to reach out. My name is Bert Salazar, and you can reach out to me at area code 888-477-0108. You can also send me an email at Bert, B-E-R-T, at GablesTaxGroup.com. And I'm looking forward, and I would look forward to schedule a 20-minute conference call with you or video conference to determine your needs for tax planning, both on the financial side and also on the physical side. So take good care of yourself, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.